Steve, you're gonna have to drive the ship when we get to the TWAB.
Sure. Don't I usually?
I suppose so. Did you fill in the band of the week?
I did not.
There we are.
Yep, we're live.
Back once again.
Baby's back.
Hey, this band's from Cleveland.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did we have a new one?
Yeah.
Oh.
You sent us a bunch.
Oh, nice.
All right.
You got it in there?
Ooh, what do we have here? That is... What the fuck?
What?
No, I'm looking at other stuff on my, Is that the metal cloak? Wait, system? What the fuck is that? There's a build that I was following on one of the Jeep forums, and I got a notification this dude added new pictures. So I went to go see it, and I'm trying to figure out what he's running. Because he posted a bunch of pictures, but didn't list what the stuff was. So, because I'm totally a professional and definitely not screwing off right now.
I mean, I was just off camera doing unspeakable things. All right, let's do it.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Hello, listeners. This is BarelyADS, a show where we shoot from the hip. I'm your host, Step Ben Malone, and with me tonight we've got Xanafan711 and Slapshot Scott, the 3 Live crew. If you didn't know, this show is streamed live on twitch.tv/BarelyADS Thursdays at about 10 o'clock Eastern, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Let me tell you, though, about the band of the week. The band of the week is Forage and Wander from Cleveland, local boys.
Yep.
And you can find them at forageandwanderoh.bandcamp.com, which stands for Ohio. Band of the week is brought to you by Weather Apps. Weather Apps, they're always available on everyone's smart devices, so spouses should stop asking their significant others what the fucking weather is going to be like that day. Look at your damn self, you lazy bum. Damn. If you want your band to be band of the week, send us an email. Send it to BarelyADShow@gmail.com. But let's take it a step farther. If you want anything on this show, we'll review it. We're not just going to put it on, but, you know, you want to send us questions, some dares, some bets, some games.
I will say, so far, there's a 100% success rate on things emailed to us getting on the show.
Yeah, it's not hard. Send it to BarelyADestinyShow@gmail.com or get at us on Twitter @BarelyADS. You can also find us in Discord. The easiest way to get in our Discord is go to our website, BarelyADS.com, and click on the Discord link. Get you right in there. Tell people all the time. Every time I need somebody to get in there, just give them that.
Yep.
Even if I'm in Discord, I'll just be like, yeah, I'm not going to go over to our page and copy a link. Just go to BarelyADS.com.
Yep. Gunbait
Also,
did
if you wouldn't mind going to YouTube, find our channel. Our channel is called BarelyADS. Give it a like, subscribe. I think it's just a subscribe. Give it a subscribe, and help us get to that 100. So that way we can get a youtube.com/BarelyADS where we will post things like our Patreon episodes after they're, after the Patreon users get them. You guys can have their sloppy seconds on YouTube.
Yep.
Patreon.com/BarelyADS recorded the first Patreon bonus episode last night.
Yeah.
Got Dan Finity in there. We're talking about ghosts.
That was
Actually,
fun.
it was really funny. It was a great time.
Wait, like actual ghost or the ghost from Destiny?
Actual ghost.
Including,
Damn it.
Spooky.
including, we're not going to go any further than this. Ghost Dad.
Oh yeah, I
God.
told the story of Ghost Dad.
Damn it! I wish I was there.
You can be there, and you can listen to these stories at patreon.com/BarelyADS.
Sign up for Patreon.
I gotta pay for my own shows.
Yeah, so if you all wouldn't mind going to the YouTube and doing that for us, and also getting in the Discord and telling a friend about this podcast. Those are the 3 things that we ask of you. We're not even asking for the Patreon. That's if you want to.
Yeah.
iTunes reviews. None?
None.
All right.
Sadly.
Hey, we did a charity stream with Gunbait for Project Guardian.
Yeah.
Guardians?
Nice.
Project Guardians to benefit
Nice.
takethis.org.
Yeah.
And-
We played 7 games in 2 hours.
It was a ton of fun. And Gunbait was in
nice.
my house, in my room, in the physical.
I touched him.
Yeah. So now it's
and he
time
touched
for
my heart.
the podcast within a podcast. How tall is my friend?
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Scott, you've seen Gunbait around. How tall do you think Gunbait is? Because Steve and I have already met him. So
That's a tough one. I would guess maybe I'd say on the taller side, like 5'10", 5'11".
well, you pretty much nailed it.
He's a little.
Oh, really?
Was he taller than us? I thought he was a little taller than us.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I would.
Steve, you be the judge.
I'm pretty sure he's like 6'1", 6'2", which is taller than I expected. Honestly,
I thought he was going to be short. I don't know why. I
Yeah,
always think
exactly.
it's going to be short.
right? Except for Fluffy, who I thought would be taller.
You know, I thought Fluffy was going to be short.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
thought Fluffy was going to be real short.
All right, and thanks for joining us on How Tall Is My Friend?
Hey,
The game that every podcast plays at
Yes.
least once in a while.
Yep.
because there's a lot to talk about tonight due to the thick words about Bungle.
Yep.
Season
Oh,
of the
yeah,
Drifter is
dude.
incoming, the Vidoc. Okay, so real quick, I don't understand what the Reckoning or Gambit Prime is, but I like that they have armor sets that are effectively making Gambit into like a hero shooter, where they're like, oh my god, they've got 4 invaders, or they've got 3 invaders and a moat picker-upper guy.
Right.
Collector or something, I think.
All right, so here's what we got in the Vidoc, and here's how it's going to break down. First thing, new mode, Gambit Prime, is a 1-round game of Gambit, and it's going to slowly evolve as you continue through. It's like a Gambit campaign, it seems like.
I love it. I love it. Looks awesome.
And when you complete Gambit Prime, that gives you access to the Reckoning, which is a, quote, premier PvE activity. And it's within the
Alright.
Drifter's ship. You go through the little ball thing, and it takes you to somewhere related to the 9.
Yeah, it's in the unknown space that the 9 sort of
Yeah.
live in, in which if you're following the lore, the 9, it's being heavily hinted, are connected to the Awoken and Marasav. So it's going to keep getting weird. It's
So-
going to be awesome.
Sounds like everything connects to the 9. And we'll find out more through the 3 tiers of the Reckoning. So there's Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And the reason you're going to go into the Reckoning is because it gives you gear to take back into Gambit Prime, creating a new fancy loot loop, as I like to call it.
So Gambit Prime gives you Reckoning gear, and Reckoning gives you Gambit Prime gear.
Oh,
Get in there, Guardians.
All right.
I don't know that Gambit Prime gives you Reckoning gear, but
I'm
it gives
saying
you,
it.
it gets you
I'm just-
into the Reckoning.
Look, this is the way that it goes now. I'm calling it. That's the way it is.
Yep.
Misinformation or not.
And Ben, I thought you'd be pretty stoked about this because you specifically were like, yeah, I liked Destiny 1 because you rated to get good weapons and stuff that you could take into the Crucible and dunk on people with it.
Well, it's sort of like that,
Yeah.
and it'll be fun. I'm excited because they I I don't remember if you guys remember. Wow, sentence is starting great.
Words are fun.
I was
English
talking
is hard.
about how I never level up in Destiny because all I do is play Gambit
Dude,
and Crucible. And
Yeah.
now they're like, well, this expansion's all about Gambit, and also, here's these bounties that'll just get you to 640 in the first hour. And I was like, what?
I fucking love that.
Yep.
I love that so much because there's been so many times, like this is actually a motivation for me to play my other characters because,
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Make another character.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like I got my Titan to I think it's 645 right now. I'm just like, man, I kind of don't want to do anything. I got all the stuff. I'm kind of like okay with what I got. I'm gonna go play Apex for a little while because I got like 20 minutes before I gotta go to bed or whatever.
Yeah. Quick turnaround
But,
in Apex for sure.
Oh yeah, it's great. But it was nice. Like I hear this and I'm like, oh man, I may actually be able to run like my Warlock and my Hunter who's level 11. He's kind of sitting there waiting to get tagged in. Maybe they'll get off the bench in this season. We'll see.
No, probably not for me because I'm going to be grinding these 4 different armor sets that basically give you a specific role in Gambit. The first one, Reaper, whose specific job is to kill stuff. Lots of stuff. So if you like going into Gambit and just shooting all the red bars, that's the set you're going to want to get. The second one, Invader. Guess what that one does?
It kills Guardians.
Helps you kill Guardians better. So your PvP sweaties, there we go. I'm going to imagine that there's specific wording on that armor that makes it not affect Crucible because that would be redonkulous.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right on that.
The third one, Collector. That's the guy that collects motes. So that's me, usually. So I'll probably be going for that one first. And then the last
Agent
one...
Gray Fox. He's
now
usually our collector.
The last one is Sentry, and this is something that seems like it's new for Gambit Prime. Their job is
It's the bank boy.
It's
Yeah,
the bank boy. Defeat the Taken to help you kill the primeval. So I imagine they're going to be really good at taking out blockers and also envoys.
Yo, that's me.
Not to mention there are going to be more mechanics in Gambit, what sounds to be like probably elements similar to the Nokris fight, where there's like do damage, then you have to do a puzzle type thing, and then do more damage, and then a puzzle type thing. And I kind of like that because that'll stop just the massive burn and require a little bit more teamwork at the primeval level.
I don't know. They said it's going to be like they emphasize heavily in the Vidoc that it's going to be like similar to raid boss mechanics, right? So I'm wondering if what they're going to do is do something similar to like the meatball, where there's a damage phase and then it gets shielded and then you got to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or like Shirochi. What's the strike? Not Shirochi. The corrupted strike. Where you have to go after the Taken Tekun. I think it's going to be something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah. So Scott, Gorilla Golf wrote in to the Discord podcast questions section and asks, what new Gambit armor class are you going to be going for next season?
That's a tough one, man. I can't wait to have like the glowing snake tattoos on my Titan. That's going to be pretty boss. I'm either probably going to, based on the role that I usually play, I'm going to guess that I'm either going to be the what is it? The Sentry, the Bank Boy, or the
Sentry.
The Pure Slayer, the one that kills all the red bars.
Reaper.
The Reaper, I think. Yeah. I think I'm gonna be one of those two because that's usually what I do. I usually, as soon as we spawn into a Gambit match, I rush to the point, basically rush to the point, and then start laying down as much fire as I possibly can towards the red bars, and then I'll have like Gray Fox and Sire rush in and pick up the motes. With that sweet business life, and Actium War Rig has been my jam lately in Gambit. Completely laying waste to everything.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Ben, what are you going to go with?
Well, if there's not a set bonus, which I doubt there will be because Destiny never does set bonuses.
That's sad.
I'm going to do like half Collector armor, half Reaper armor.
That's a good call.
I'm
That's a
gonna
real
try
good
and
call.
do a little bit of both because I like to run around and kill lots of stuff with my shoulder charge, which means by just, proxy, I just pick up shit tons of motes because I'm shoulder charging everything.
Yeah. Or SMGs with my favorite perk.
What about you, Steve? What are you gonna be?
Oh, totally collector. Or what Ben said, a hodgepodge Reaper collector type thing. Because similarly to Ben, I like to go in with SMGs in my fist and punch and shoot a bunch of stuff. And I'm right on, in effect, kill a lot of things and then collect a lot of motes. And I'm going to be doing these things on 2 new maps. We get a Mars map.
Oh, that's right.
In week 1.
Sorry, let me pull my eyes up off the ground. I rolled them so hard they just fell out.
And then I'll tighten
That
week 2.
transition. God.
Hey, at least I'm throwing them in there. And then
Segways are a thing, and this is one.
And then on those new maps, we're going to be using 3 new Gambit guns. The Spare Rations hand cannon, the Soul Survivor sniper, and the Doomsday grenade launcher.
The question is, will that hand cannon replace Trust?
I think
it looks
so.
crazy.
It looks like it's a slower rate of fire one. It might be in what is it? The aggressive. That's a 110.
Nobody's going to talk about the fact that it's like 8 feet long.
It's 8 feet long.
Crazy looking, man.
It looks ridiculous.
You know what I'm wondering? I'm thinking about this because obviously, I'm a Hammer Titan. I usually play top tree hammers in Gambit for Melting Point. I'm wondering if the armor sets, specifically the one for the Bank Boy, you've ruined that for me, by the way, Ben. That's what the Sentry is going to be.
The Bank Boy from
Bank Boy. Yeah, I'm wondering if that's going to have a bonus for helping like kill the boss. So if you could stack that with something like the Melting Point, or if you go, you're a hunter and you go with Tether, that could be pretty huge, because Melting Point and Tether, they cancel each other out. So don't use those, pro tip, together. But if you're using one or the other, you can burn a boss down pretty quick in Gambit. And if they're going to add perks that'll help you do that more, it's going to be crazy.
Scott, would you like to know, in typical Bungie fashion, what the timeline is for Season of the Drifter?
Yes, I would love.
All right, so in week 1, on March 5th, starting right off the bat, Gambit Prime on the map New Arcadia, and Reckoning Tier 1. And also, we didn't mention, this was in the Vidoc as well, we're getting Gambit private matches, boys. I'm excited about it.
There's going to be a clan tournament for my clan, and I guarantee whoever goes up against our resident Dredgen Irish Hammer, it's not going to be pretty, man. That dude is going to just... And I'm just thinking about the invasion armor, man. Like, we've got a couple guys in our clan who are just dedicated invaders. They're going to be terrifying when they get their hands on that invader armor.
I feel like Gambit is going to get a weird, like, sweaty matches kind of thing where people are like, no, we do 2v2 Gambits.
Ooh.
And, like, just weird shit like that.
That would be dope. Can we just call out right now Mark Square, Grey Ghost, and Unilala and be like, can we get the Pod Clash back as a Gambit tournament?
I would do the Gambit Pod
dude.
Clash.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Let's do it.
I still have Destiny 2 we could still do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
On
that
console.
would be awesome.
Well, I'd have to buy the Season Pass because this is Season Pass stuff.
Private matches?
Oh, the private matches might not be. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Well, and then on March 8th, guys, we're getting Reckoning Tier 2. First week, Reckoning Tier 2. And then on the 12th, which is the start of the second week, we get Gambit Prime on the next map, Deep 6, as well as the beginning, if not the whole thing, Thorn Quest. Confirmed. Thorn's coming back. We already knew it. Get hype. And in the Vidoc, I thought this was funny. He said, I can't wait to complain about people using Thorn while using Thorn.
Yeah, that was perfect for me.
Yep. And then on the 15th, Invitations of the Nine and Reckoning Tier 3. And I have no idea what Invitations of the Nine is.
I actually read up on this a little bit. It's going to be bounties that you can get to do things, to get things from the 9. and they're gonna pop up with Xur each week, and I think this was actually, I don't remember if I saw it on Twitter or if I saw it on the Bungie.
Scott, are you telling me that Xur is going to have a use in year 2 of Destiny finally?
Yes.
I was just
Xur
like,
is
what
going
if
to be
he-
useful. He's
he
not
just
going to be
gives
the
you
trash
all
collector of the
the,
9.
I would love if he gave us weapons that have the aesthetic as the year 1 trials, the year 1 Destiny 2 trials stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
give
not
me
be
some weapons that
surprised
look like that.
if these are exotic bounties that give you.
I would be surprised.
Like a random
Yeah.
exotic. Well, we can't get Forsaken exotics yet from Xur, so what if that's the way to get Forsaken exotics from Xur?
That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
huh? That'd be dope. Week 3 on March 26th. That doesn't add up. What? Okay. All right. Their chart is wrong. Anyway, Gambit Prime on Emerald Coast on the 26th. Gambit Prime on all maps on April 2nd. And then on April 9th is something called Arc Week. I have no idea what that is. That's available to anyone that owns Destiny.
Arc Week. Are we like rushing a fraternity or something like that? What the hell is that?
I guess. I don't know. And then the final thing on this timeline is from April 16th to May 6th, there's a new seasonal event called the Revelry available to all Destiny players. Not
And
just
there's gonna be
season
new
pass
armor
holders.
with the Revelry too, isn't it?
I would imagine there usually is
I
new
think
something.
they showed in the end of the Vidoc when they say that they show some armor, like unique armor, or maybe it's not unique armor. Maybe it's reskinned. I don't really know. They just flashed it on the screen. It was 3 Guardians wearing it. Had like some special patterns, a unique shader on it.
Right on.
So,
Did it look cool?
if I remember correct, I mean it looked cool. I think if I remember correctly, it looked kind of like the what was the season 1 of D2 armor that you could get from? Was it Prime Engrams? It was like not a PlayStation exclusive. Maybe it was. It was
Or was
like
it
one
the
of weird-
Eververse armor? From
No,
year
it
one?
wasn't it wasn't the Eververse armor. It was it had like the aesthetic that Titan has.
Okay.
Like it was that white with the teal and the red on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
That could be
I'm
cool.
like-
Terra
I had-
Concord.
That's what it is. It looked like Terra Concord armor.
Okay.
I
That's
actually
kinda
had
lame
that
then.
on my Titan. I like that. I like that in year 1 when we didn't have too many choices. I used the spiky shoulder pads, but you know.
Yeah.
I
All
need
right.
my punk points.
Also, as we've been starting to get accustomed to with the Season of the Drifter, we are also getting 3 new pinnacle weapons. The first of which, from the Vanguard Strike playlist and stuff, the Oxygen SR3 Precision Scout Rifle, and it's solar. And it has the unique perk, Meganura, which does Dragonfly deals more damage based on the number of precision hits made beforehand.
Oh shit! So it's like triple tap. It adds to Dragonfly, right?
It's just like get precision hits, and then when you
Yeah.
kill someone with a precision hit, it explodes even further if you got a lot of precision hits.
That could be a good perk against yellow bars.
It'd be interesting. And then, well, it'd be good for like in EP, the stupid final boss where the Thrall charge him.
Oh yeah.
That would be
That
dope.
fucking guy.
Yeah. The Crucible one, the Recluse, which is a lightweight submachine gun, and it's void. And it has the unique perk, Master of Arms. And that does kills with any weapon increase this weapon's damage for a short time. So it gives all of your guns kill clip. It's basically what it seems like. And,
That's actually sounds like a fantastic perk.
yeah, I think it's going to be not as rampant as something like Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl, but I think in the right hands, it's going to be just dirty. Just real dirty.
What do you think the quest is going to be like for that? Do you think it's going to be as tough as Luna's and Not Forgotten, or do you think they're gonna make it a little bit easier? Because I mean, SMGs, like the playstyle from is very different from hand cannons, and like for me, it was always a little bit easier to run an SMG in Crucible when I had my Antiope with kill clip and I think it was rifle barrel or something like that. It was one of the range perks. It was pretty nasty.
Nice. I don't know. I think what it's gonna do is force you to use SMGs in Crucible to do a whole bunch of questy stuff and then reach legend. And then finally, the Gambit weapon is called 21% Delirium, and it's a rapid-fire machine gun.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
It's arc, and it has the unique perk Killing Tally. Kills increase this weapon's damage until it is stowed or reloaded. And it also has one of the new perks that they're introducing in Season of the Drifter called Overflow, which will increase the magazine size out even further.
Holy shit, dude, that's gonna be a fucking monster.
Yeah. It's a bullet hose machine gun.
That sounds awesome. I mean, they're actually making that archetype good, because if you guys remember Zombie Apocalypse in D1, that was good until we actually got other machine guns that, you know, did more damage, and then everybody kind of trashed that thing.
So the thing will be dope. And final piece of the TWAB, there's a little bit of a sandbox update. They're making some changes to power weapons, and the goal is to make legendary power weapons an option and potentially as potent as exotic power weapons under the right circumstances. So what they're going to do is for grenade launchers, they're going to increase PvE damage by 25%. They're going to increase the reserve ammo on most grenade launchers, and magazine perks and mods no longer affect ammo reserves, which I guess they previously did affect ammo reserves, and usually to give you less in the ammo reserves. So they're going to update that. And they're also updating rocket launchers. They're increasing the PvE damage by 60 to 65%, and they said exotics have had their damage tuned separately, and they're changing cluster bombs a little bit. They're reducing the damage of cluster bombs by 80% because the lost damage was moved to the launcher's main projectile as noted above. And the point of that was to make it so that cluster bombs were not a requirement to make a rocket launcher good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not that many good perks on rocket launchers. I kind of don't like this move. But my thing that I wonder is that main projectile, can that only affect one enemy, or is there like a concussive blast with the main projectile
there's
that
still
affects multiple?
Your blast radius is still going to affect the primary projectile, I'm sure.
All right, then maybe that won't be too bad then, because what I used to like to do is just fire a rocket launcher, because I have tracking and cluster bombs on my Bad Omens, the god roll from Drifter. I usually, when I'm playing Gambit or Strikes, I love to send a rocket into a crowd of ads and just watch them all explode, and then the cluster bombs go off and take out the rest of them. Because I can't have my goddamn Gallahorn. Can we please have Gallahorn? I miss my Gallahorn. Come on.
They brought back Thorn in the last words, so
I think they're holding off on bringing Galley back. I think they're going to bring that. They would have to bring that back, man. They brought back Mida. They brought back Thorn. They brought back Last Word. I think they're going to bring back Galley, but I'm not sure. They're going to do it in like a big deal way, you know. And they're going to make it hard.
Yeah, they got to.
They're going to make it hard too to get, I think.
Right on. You guys got anything else on Destiny or the TWAB?
Have not played Destiny in a minute because I've been all up in that anthem.
Ooh.
Throw all your hands up. This is the anthem.
God.
Jeez, that joke is getting pretty old. All right. So then let's move on to our general gaming news.
Anthem is tight.
It is.
I'm like 20 hours in.
Yep.
I hit a major story point today, and it's really fun. I was listening to last week's episode, and I had a complaint where I said that I felt everything was kind of I didn't like how the mission structure was, where you just wander from point to point killing things.
Yeah.
And there's like some really cool like that I don't want to spoil. Steve, the one that we did that had all the cutscenes in it and had the big cutscene at the end.
The Javelin of Dawn mission.
Yes, that thing was awesome. That mission was so fun.
Yeah, dude. Good stuff. Good stuff. There was a. We'll just hit the anthem right now. Then there was a patch that went live today, and this is from IGN. It's called the Loot Patch, and what it did was items will no longer have inscriptions on them that aren't appropriate for that specific item. So the way it worked before is you'd get a gun. Say you got a machine pistol. That machine pistol might have 8% increased damage for scout rifles. Yeah, so it just didn't make any sense. So they changed it so that the perks that can come on a gun or item affect, the overall playstyle of your javelin or that gun specifically. I think that's a really good change. And then also they reduced the masterwork item crafting costs from 25 masterwork embers down to 15, and the other component costs have also been reduced. And then they did also say that in a future patch, common and uncommon loot drops will be removed for level 30 players. But it's still unknown whether or not that means they're just going to not show up or you're going to get rare and higher drops instead. Hope it's the latter.
Yeah, but even if it's like auto dismantle, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's from IGN. To start off the rest of the general gaming news, we're going to try a new segment, which we are going to call Ben and Zan's Dad Reviews Something.
Sure.
Working title. So if you have ideas, tweet at us with titles for this segment. But
Papa Malone.
Without further ado.
Hey everyone, I'm here to tell you how I feel about the new game Far Cry New Dawn. Let me just say I enjoy playing this game very much, and here's why. Let's talk maps. The map is the same as Far Cry 5, which I sort of like because I know the map well, but it looks completely different as it is represented 17 years later and after a nuclear apocalypse. But I'll tell you what, it's exciting to come across this dilapidated building and you're sort of walking around it, and then all of a sudden you get that I've been here before feeling, and you realize you recognize that building or that place from the Far Cry 5 game. Now let's talk guns. A lot has been said about a new gun it's a saw blade type rifle, and I've heard people are disappointed there's not more, but I like the guns. I thought they were great, and I will say this, you have to build up those guns. You got to do the side missions and build up your perks in order to increase the power of the gun. So you got to do that if you're going to meet up with some of these heavy artillery guys, armor-clad guys later on. Let's talk characters. Now, this was a cool thing. I found that in playing the game that you will meet characters from Far Cry 5 who survived. I'm not going to tell you who, leave that as a surprise, but that was a really neat thing to run into. And then gameplay itself, the overall gameplay is really like playing an extended version of Far Cry 5. And I just say, if you like that one, you're going to love playing Far Cry New Dawn. Hey, thanks, everyone. I'm out.
Thanks, Dad. That was great.
That was awesome.
That was very succinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a really good review.
I like just having him out on assignment now. I'm just like, hey, this is not a game that I'm going to spend time trying to play. I look forward to hearing his Red Dead review next year.
Red Dead review next year. Oh, man. Well, so Dad's playing Far Cry New Dawn. Scott finally played Apex.
Yes, I did. So, last, I think it was Friday or Saturday night, I downloaded Apex. It took about a half hour, so I went about doing some other stuff while that downloaded, and then I jumped into Apex. I gotta say, I was a little bit hesitant. As you guys know, I don't like Battle Royale games. Absolutely hate Fortnite for a number of reasons. I dislike the game, but I hate the cultural trend aspect of it. I think that's a load. So I've never really played PUBG. I've just not been a fan of Battle Royale modes. So I was highly skeptical about this, and it loaded up, and I'm like, man, it looks like they made Titanfall 2 a cartoon, you know? And they went kind of like Overwatch comic booky with some of the characters, and I was just kind of like bummed about it. Real skeptical. So then there's an opening cinematic, and the guy's talking, he sounds familiar. And he says, he's talking about the Apex Legends tournament. And then he says, if you kill them, you're better. They kill you, they're better. And the camera pans around, and you see Cuban Blisk from the Titanfall series playing with the knife, and takes it out of the bar that he stabbed it. You know, he stabs it in the bar because you're in a bar, of course. And flips it around, puts it back in the holster, and drops a card on the bar. It says Apex Legends tournament. And as the camera swings up to him, you see him. His hair isn't red anymore; it's white. So it's set about 30 years after, roughly guessing based on the couple posts I read on the Titanfall Reddit, about 30 years after the War for the Frontier. So he sets up this blood sport tournament called Apex Legends, which is the game we're playing. And I gotta say, man, I like it. That was kind of like the moment that I was like, oh, okay, so we're acknowledging Titanfall universe here with a character. This might be good. So I loaded in and kind of fumbled around with the controls a little bit.
Who'd you
It's a little
pick?
confusing.
Who'd you play as?
I went with Gibraltar.
Yep. I called that
I
shit.
went with Gibraltar first. I haven't really played any other characters yet, but I like the fact that they give you a training mission you have to complete before you go in, just so you know what the controls are. Now, as I'm going through this training mission with, I'm looking at the guns, and they're all Titanfall guns. The movement is very similar to Titanfall 2, minus the wall running.
Yeah, because you're not a pilot, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing: they're all wearing the jump kits from the pilot and from the pilots, and what's Bloodhound has a Titan pilot helmet on that's been modified. So I'm picking up like subtle cues from the Titanfall universe about this. So I mean, I'm like, I was real skeptical about this game at first. I'm starting to like it more and more. As you get through the training mission, you play all the Titanfall guns. I recognize them. They feel exactly the same. The movements feels fucking great. It's first person, so you can see things. So I'm like, all right, this feels pretty good. Let's see how it plays. In live fire. So I load into the first match, and it was like, it was unreal. It was really good. The ping system in that is absolutely fantastic. Some of the systems that they have, you don't have to talk to the randoms, which is great.
I love how that's the biggest celebration for this. Is like the ping system. You don't have to talk to people.
It's so great, man, because there's so many disasters. Fortnite and a couple other games that I had that were not opt-in chat. Like Destiny is. Like there's other. It was just awful. The first team that I had is these couple guys from Virginia, and all they did was talk shit. They told me to kill myself a couple times. The irony of this is I was the last one standing in the match. They revived me, and then I forget what it was, but like we ended up placing third, and I'm like, these guys are kind of dicks. So I muted them both, and I went about pinging the weapons and stuff where I needed it. I was just like, these guys are, I don't want to be associated with them. I did actually. The funniest thing was, I think it was my second match. I got carried to a victory.
What? You got to win?
Early on. Yeah, I died early on, and the guys in my squad just like they were random. So shout out to those dudes. Thank you very much for that.
Best I've done so far is second place, and it was me and Elmer Fudd and your boy Narwolf, Naranji.
Nice.
And I had a misfire on my ultimate in the final fight, last two squads, and we would have won had I not screwed it up. I take the blame fully for that. But something I'm incredibly interested in is what you think the implications of Apex are. I was really thinking about Apex and what that means for Respawn moving forward, especially since they said they are working on a Titanfall game after all. I'm kind of getting the vibe that Apex wanted to get their name, or not Apex, Respawn wanted to get their name out there, and they've got a game coming out later this year. I don't know if you've heard about it, Star Wars: The Fallen Order. And now everyone knows the name Respawn, whereas Titanfall 2 did not sell well. It was under the radar and it has a cult following, but now everybody knows about Respawn, and there's a new game coming out. And what I did find out too about the Star Wars game, what it is exactly. You are a survivor of Order 66.
Oh shit, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Respawn, they seem to be like absolutely killing it lately with some of the stuff, and it's funny because I saw a couple articles that said, I think Kotaku posted one, saying that because and it was actually kind of brilliant. I don't know if it was organized by Respawn and EA or what, but like they put Titanfall 2 on sale in a bunch of the storefronts, like PlayStation, Xbox, I think a couple PC oriented like game download stores had it for sale for like $10 or free in some cases. And that was the first week we actually, when we picked it up and we're like, hey, there's supposedly a Battle Royale Titanfall game coming out. That was a few episodes back. We beat Kotaku to that, by the way. Kotaku, yeah. Did we? Yeah. I think we talked about it and then everybody posted about it the next day. But anyways, so yeah, you heard it here first on BarelyADS, people. Get excited for that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that Titanfall 2 is on sale, and then Apex drops, and Apex, like overnight becomes a smash hit. People love it because the movement and the gunplay is great. It's first person. The world is, vibrant and colorful. It's got several different characters with specific roles.
It's free and it's not Fortnite.
It's free and dude, it's so funny too because everybody's like, well, Fortnite's free to play, and it's like, dude, that was the only defense for Fortnite. Now that game has been a burning dumpster fire in my opinion since it was fucking dropped.
Well, it's not a dumpster fire. You just don't like it.
I fucking hate it because it's third person and like, the gunplay is wildly inaccurate, and then you shoot at somebody and they turn into an 8-story building. In my opinion, that's not Battle Royale. That's bullshit. It's Minecraft with guns. I said it before, but I mean, like, this seems like Apex is very good. It seems like it is, you've got elements from all the shooter games that I like. It's set in a universe that, like, I was already familiar with. So, I mean, it already had a bunch of stuff going for it. But just coming in as somebody who like kind of despises battle royale games because they are like the new cool trend, and it seems like there hasn't been a good one. It seems like this could be the first really good one.
Yeah, and I did hear,
I'm enjoying it.
I did find out too that the release of Apex and the development of Apex and the timetable of Apex and even the timetable of when Titanfall 2 was released was all Respawn's decision. Ben, do you think that Apex might have been the most brilliant secret marketing ploy that Respawn could have done to kind of take control of the marketing of their game away from EA?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was smart the way that they released it. I don't think that there's such a grand plan behind it. Like, I think that they were honest about it before, where they were like, we just got bought by EA and we're releasing a game with loot boxes and it's a battle royale. It's a marketing shitstorm, so let's not do marketing, we'll just put it out. And as luck would have it, it's really good. Like, I don't think they expected it to do nearly as well as it did.
No. But now that it did, how much do you think that's going to affect the sales of Star Wars: The Fallen Order?
Oh, EA is fucking super happy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think it's worth mentioning too. They're actually receiving a decent amount of praise for the way they dropped Apex, because there wasn't any hype. It wasn't like some weird. It was like the opposite of what Bungie does for Destiny.
Yeah.
And I think Bungie does a great job with Destiny because of the type of game it is. You got to get people revved up and hyped for the new stuff coming out. They're going to get ready with their fire teams and play it and stuff. Like, we were talking about this before the show. We're all pretty excited for Season of the Drifter. But the thing with I think Battle Royale and free-to-play games is, like, you can't really hype them, especially with loot boxes and EA being involved, because apparently
Yeah, it's
that's
an
a,
immediate eye roll if you hear
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
that's a big like
I
thing
think-
with a lot of people.
I think you've just nailed something, Scott, that I've been thinking about for a while, today, which is that with the release of Apex, it was a ninja drop, basically, right? We only knew
Yeah.
about it for a couple days, and then it just came out. And the reason they did that was so that there were no expectations on the game when it came out. And then you see a game like Anthem, which is a good game that came out,
Yes.
and it just didn't match the levels of hype that everyone had for it. So it didn't hit that expectation factor. I'm wondering if people are going in the games industry are going to take notice of this, and maybe we stop getting games announced so much earlier than they're released, just so that way people don't have time to let that information fester and kind of
Yeah.
create hype and false expectations for what they want the game to be. And then once the game comes out, if there isn't that huge timetable of pre-marketing, pre-hype and all that stuff, maybe then games will get reviewed and their the expectations of those games are kind of in a place where people can just jump in, play the game, and have more of an open mind to what that game actually is. Because I think that with Anthem specifically, what I think people had very high expectations. It's BioWare. It's a looter shooter. It's an open world. You get to be Iron Man. You know, all these things that people were super excited about, and they delivered on the majority of all those things. But people expected it to be the next best thing in the looter shooter genre, and it's just not.
It's just a pretty good thing in the looter shooter genre.
Yeah, it's a good game, you know. So without that hype, it might have done better and might have even reviewed better.
I think, like it's interesting to bring that up because when you think about that and marketing is going sort of with games and even like the way the whole industry is going, like your big publishers they're not doing well right now. Activision
EA's
just
doing
laid
great.
off-
EA's stocks
Didn't
went
they
up.
just-
They went down.
Yeah. They went down and then they went up.
Yeah.
Apex.
Yeah, when Apex
Right.
came out, they went up higher than they were before.
That's
went
true.
down. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And
It's just
Activision
interesting.
had record sales last year. The reason they had to lay off so many people was because they expected better than the record sales than they did. So they just planned poorly for the amount of
Yeah.
people that they had. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of changes coming in the way that games are presented, the way that games are marketed. And it's like if you look at the history over the last year or two with Apex and the way Fortnite came out just kind of out of nowhere, all these games that get released kind of surprisingly or announced very shortly before they come out have been doing very well because those expectations aren't there, it seems to me.
Well,
anyway.
think about it. It's the similar. It keeps it honest, right? It's exactly what happened with Destiny 1. They hyped it. It wasn't fully fleshed out, completed, whatever you want to call it when it first dropped. People just completely burned it in effigy for a long time, and then Taken King came out, and people
Same
went
thing
back, picked it up, stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, it's amazing." And
Same
I think
thing
that's
with
actually going to be
with Forsaken,
similar.
the Division 1 super huge update that they made, the For Honor super huge update. All these are things that they were like, hey, we're working on something. We think it'll make it what you guys wanted, but we're not going to tell you about it really until it comes out. And then it comes out and it's really good. So when you don't know what's going to happen, it seems like you're more appreciative of what they do for the games and you don't have that high expectation. And you can just allow the game to be what it is. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting.
The other thing too is a lot of it, as an industry, they're really relying on pre-order now. From one of the last things that I read is they seem to like really bank on pre-orders, and if that's the case, then yes, marketing has to take place, but like not overhyping a game. Like how long ago did we get Anthem? Like
a week and a
announced?
half. Oh, Anthem was announced in what, 2015?
Yeah,
Something like that?
It was like halfway through D1 they came out and were like, yeah, there's going to be a game coming out from BioWare that's going to be this thing. It's going to be Anthem. You know, we saw some like teaser art and we're all like, ooh, that's cool. But it's been almost 3 years that they, you know, something crazy like that, which is insane because, like I said, we just got it last week. So people just sat there and stewed and imagined like what it's going to be, you know, and just built that up in their head. And I mean, you know, there's a way to do marketing and there's a way to not do it. And I think, you know, pushing so heavily on those pre-orders and like putting the marketing out to get the pre-orders and sort of hyping it, that I think in the case of like, you know, Destiny and Anthem, burned them because of that. You know, like you said, people had these expectations all built up and stuff. But if they start just sort of dropping games or like putting it out there saying, hey, we've got this coming, what it's going to be, just more of like a straight up like day one drop of, you know, similar to the way that Respawn did with Apex, I think that could actually, I'm not going to say it's going to solve any problems, right? But I think you're right. I think that could actually make some of the reviews a little bit more, I hate to say like honest, but you know what I mean, right? It's a little more.
A game I think that's going to suffer from hype in this fashion is something that we just learned a little bit more about in the most recent Nintendo Direct, or as they actually called it, Pokemon Direct. We got more details about the new Pokemon Gen 8 game that's coming out, and it's called Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'll just go through this
3D.
real quick. It's in the same art style as the last one, Sun and Moon. It looks to take place like it's in Europe, or what they're calling Galar. They revealed the starters. There's a water lizard named Sobble, a fire electric rabbit named Scorbunny, and a grass bug type monkey called Grookey.
Whoa, hold on a sec. There's a rabbit called Scorbunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Scorch and Bunny, Scorbunny.
And it's adorable. All of them.
I thought you meant like Score Bunny. I was going to make a joke about breeding like rabbits, but never mind.
And I know you guys aren't really excited about this, but I'm super hype about getting the first ever console Pokemon game. Like,
oh, it's going to be console?
Yeah, it's the Pokemon has always been the handheld game for Nintendo, and yes, the Switch is handheld, but it can also go on your TV. So it makes sense, and I'm really excited about it. And then the last thing that they announced is that it kind of seems like you can customize your character a little better, like your outfit and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But it's going to be a lot of the same, and I'm okay with that because why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Dude, people are still going hard playing the different Pokemon mobile games. Dude. I went over to hang out with Gray Fox and his wife and our buddy Sire last week. We were all just sitting around the table. I got there. They're all like friggin' trading Pokemon and shit.
Yep. I mean, and the guy that's directing Pokemon Sword and Shield is the same guy that directed Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which were my favorite remakes of any of the Pokemon games. So I trust this dude. I think it'll be pretty good. We got some news from IGN about Halo Infinite. And basically, Bonnie Ross, who is the lead at 343 Industries, said that they're trying to make Halo Infinite, which is essentially Halo 6, a spiritual reboot. So it's not actually a reboot, but they want to harness the way that Halo... what is it? Combat Evolved was what Halo 1 was called. They want to recapture what made that game so iconic and special. And then I said, so they're going back to their roots, boots on the ground. Halo Infinite. But by them saying that, there has been speculation that Halo Infinite might be a looter shooter open world. This makes me now think that that's not the case. And then a couple more real quick things. Horizon Zero Dawn has sold 10 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
That's from gamesindustry.biz. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
I was going to say, that's been a quiet little success, huh?
Not quiet. That game almost won Game of the Year, but
Well,
Breath of the Wild
quiet
took
as
it.
of late.
Yeah, as of
Well,
late.
yeah, that's what I'm more mean.
Yep. And then Capcom continues to kill it. Resident Evil 2 has shipped 4 million copies worldwide. Also from gamesindustry.biz.
One of those copies was to me. I just picked that up over the weekend.
How are you liking it?
Nice.
Or I say the weekend. I haven't worked in like 2 days. Um, it's fucking scary. That's about it. I mean, it's a good game. I don't know. I'm not very far into it. I kind of have to play with my wife in the room so that way we can clown on it. Otherwise, I get too scared.
Scott, that sounds like, if it is that scary, that sounds like something that could be potentially fun for you and your wife. I know that the Resident Evil games specifically have been games that people often play like sitting next to each other. Whether you're
Yeah.
holding the controller or not, they're still fun.
Yeah, there's
Right.
like puzzles and stuff you have to figure out in the game, but then on top of that, you're just like shooting shit, and they don't die. Like this, oh my god! So I got a knife, and I was like, oh, sweet, I can knife stuff now because I put 8 shots into the last guy's head, and he still got up and tried to eat me. So I'll knock him down and just go over top of him with the knife, and I'm just slashing and slashing and slashing, and then my knife fucking broke.
Oh shit, your knife can
What?
break?
Yeah, I was like, that is new for Resident Evil, and I was like, oh fuck me, like I had like nothing
This
left.
sucks. This just got rough.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that was really sweet. So I've been playing some of that. I played Burnout Paradise today for a little bit and was like, we can leave that one in the vault. That's okay. That one didn't need to be brought back.
Not a fan, huh?
And then last night, Nar and I started playing A Way Out, the EA game about 2 guys escaping from prison.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this.
It's hilarious, man. Like we were doing a scene where our cells are next to each other and we're trying to pop the toilet off the wall and like get some like I don't know, open up a hole behind the toilet basically. But one person has to stand lookout and you can like look back and forth down the hallway and see when the guards are coming and the other person is working on the toilet. Well, the whole game is split screen even if you're playing online. So I could have easily just watched his screen. For some reason, neither of us were doing that. And so, like, you get so focused in on what you're trying to do, and he's like, stop, 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 stop. Like, I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
it's fucking funny.
Can we expect to see more of this, you and Nar playing A Way Out on twitch.tv/BarelyADS?
I didn't stream it last night because I was, like, passing out. If he wants to, I'll ask him.
Hell yeah, that would be dope.
It's funny.
Oh, yeah. The last piece of general gaming news we have is GOG, aka Good Old Games, has decided to end their fair pricing package for consumers. And what this basically is this was a really dope thing that they were doing, is that certain regions have different prices for games. So if you were in a region where the game was more expensive than somewhere else, you would get GOG credits that you could apply towards the purchase of a different game. Well, they decided that due to the increase in share that they are paying to developers, their cut got smaller, and then in order for them to continue to provide you with quality games at a fair price, they had to remove that little perk that they had for their customers. And if you're wondering why would I buy things from GOG instead of Steam or something like that, it's because when you buy a game from GOG, you can download it and you just have it and it's on your computer. You don't need a launcher. There's nothing connected to the launcher. It's as if you got the game as it was intended to be played and bought from the original publisher. So that is why GOG is great. It's also CD Projekt Red. So if you like The Witcher and if you're excited about Cyberpunk, try and buy your games from GOG if you want to support those folks over there. I've only ever heard great things from GOG. Ben, have you ever bought anything there?
I've only ever gotten free games from GOG.
No, lots of free games.
I got Soma.
Hell yeah. All right. So moving on to listener questions. We thought we didn't have any. We have 2 now. And these listener questions are brought to you by Tarsus Vodka.
Wait, we have a competitor's ad?
Not quite. This week, we at Cosmodrome Vodka decided we could not ignore the possibility of more customers and higher profits. Therefore, we are proud to introduce our newest distillery location, Tarsus Vodka on Bastion. So with so many organics and parts just lying around the jungle, we had to jump at this opportunity to provide quality alcohol for the residents of Bastion. And there's plenty of space in Fort Tarsus to build our distillery, considering half of the place is empty due to the always impending doom of cataclysms yet to arrive. Once construction is done, we will be pumping out our first Tarsus flavor soon. Our real estate agent warned us that Bastion and Fort Tarsus has received negative reviews from clients who appeared to rush their reviews out because the concept of patience is lost on them. We at Cosmodrome Vodka give 0 shits about negative reviews. We plan to enjoy the atmosphere of Bastion for a long time to come. So expect 1 Tarsus product every 2 weeks and 1 Cosmodrome product every 2 weeks. It'll be fantastic. Now, if you'll excuse us, we need to establish a denomination of the Church of the Taken Ass here on Bastion, and we need to search for a new idol. Fingers crossed we don't get crushed by a titan, eaten by a wyvern, or ripped to pieces by the Monitor. And remember, Guardians and freelancers, in Cosmodrome Tarsus, cataclysms shape you. Sent for my cipher.
I love that. He like, if people don't know,
That was
like
fantastic.
that's
my
like
God.
he's playing the game.
Yeah.
Like those are in depth.
That is like 6
far as
to
policy.
10
They're
Anthem
really good.
inside jokes in one paragraph. It's amazing. Shout out to Laz, killing it. Love you, Laz. So the first question from the Beard MB. He wants to know, do you think there's a weapon hidden at comp level legend? I want to say that he meant mythic. Like a new not forgotten. Are we going to get the pinnacle SMG and then there's another SMG when you max out your comp rate?
Oh, for a minute there, I thought he meant there was a gun duct taped to the toilet like in the old mob movies.
That too. That's what you get. You get a Tommy gun that's duct taped to the toilet.
Oh man, can you imagine if they made one of the weapons for Destiny like an old school Tommy gun?
It could be a gambit weapon.
Yeah, now you're talking.
I'm going to guess that there is not, because I think they learned their lesson from Not Forgotten, because that gun is way too good.
That's why it was so hard to get, though, right?
Yeah, but like Luna's Howl was as hard to get, if not harder, than Redrick's. And Luna's Howl is amazing. And then Not Forgotten is better than that, and it's not an exotic. I think that was... I think Bungie knows that was a little bit of a mistake, and so they're not going to repeat that one. Now, if they decide to do that for the Vanguard pinnacle weapon and the Gambit pinnacle weapon, I'm super down, because those ones are much more attainable. Put it behind like 10 resets, something like that, you know?
Can you reset your Vanguard without like the season going? Because I'm up to like level 25.
Oh, maybe not Vanguard, but I mean with Gambit, maybe they put it at a level, you know? Maybe they put it at level 25 for Vanguard. You know, grind strikes forever.
That's what they did with it was that shotgun, the heavy shotgun that goes in the kinetic slot. It was like full auto and rifle barrel. The thing was nasty.
You mean the one that I now get like all of the time?
I forget the name of it, dude, because I got the same one, and I'm like, oh man, it was locked behind like I think it was Nightfall or Vanguard level 25 or something. You had to get to like
it was
Nightfall rank
connected to your Nightfall scores cumulatively or something like that. So you you had to score high on like as many nightfalls as possible to increase your level in Vanguard.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's a really cool way to level up the Vanguard.
I did not understand it at first, and then I watched Fallout Play's video of how that works, and I was like, well, shit, if I knew this from the start, I would have been doing more nightfalls.
Yep. Shout out to Fallout Plays, and also
Yeah.
shout out to AKA Gear Dad, who asks, "You are given the ability to go back in time once. What do you do?"
Back in time to like some point earlier in my life, or can it be before?
Either. Go back in time is the only
Boy, this is...
thing that he referenced there.
Will our actions affect the current timeline, or is it are we talking like a multiverse?
Yeah, can I come back?
Of course, it's going to affect the current timeline.
Am I
It's
coming
time
back
travel.
to the modern timeline, or am I staying there?
I'm going to assume that you get to come back. In which case, I'm going to harness my inner Biff, and I'm going to find out who... I'm just going to buy a sports almanac and then come back and make a shit ton of money. Sports almanac or stock history or something like that.
Yeah,
so
I was like, I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
invest in Apple and Netflix
Yeah,
and
No.
Amazon.
Amazon. Ooh.
Amazon,
Google,
definitely
maybe.
Amazon, Google, Apple, probably Ford, but then I'm gonna sell it like probably 2013.
I'd probably go back.
Good after the...
I'm going to invest in Halliburton.
Oh God, I don't know that I'd be that dark. That's some bad stuff right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I would
the
just
goal
invest
is...
in a bunch of those companies.
So we're all going back in time and using the fact that we're from the future and going back to the future to make a bunch of
Yeah.
money.
We're gonna insider trade it, and when we come back, we're all gonna be set for life and be like, I don't have to work, so I'm gonna go like play guitar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Except I come back and just have like a coke problem. Just like, God damn it!
Shit,
That would be funny.
We split the coke.
It's a whole monkey's paw kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
All right. And that's it for listener questions. Real quick before Ben takes us out. Fantasy Game Critic. So far, we don't have enough people. Only 4 people have showed interest. And of those 4 people, 5 if you count me, neither of them is Ben or Scott, you guys. But I want at least 8 to get this thing going. So I'm going to extend the signups for one more week. Please get in the Discord and put your name in the hat that you want to do the Fantasy Game Critic. It should be a lot of fun. If we don't get to 8 by the next time we record, we're just not going to do it. So please get in there. I want to do this thing. I think it'd be a blast. It'd be a fun thing to talk about here on the podcast, so I can talk shit to Drafty and Gorilla Golf and Laz and everybody about whose team of games is doing better. There's a channel. It says Games Critic in the Discord. Fantasy Game Critic. Get in there. Say I'm in. And then we'll get this draft going. Please. And thank you.
Cool. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Deadbad Malone, or if you want to play Anthem or Apex, Dadbod Malone on Origin. You can find this show everywhere at BarelyADS, except our email is barelyadestinyshow@gmail.com. Please send us anything that you would like. And the band of the week is Forage and Wander from Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. Scott.
Mainly on Twitter at SlapshotScott. Those are zeros. Shout out to the BADS community and my clan IAP. You can find me playing, racking up that Gambit rank this week with Triple Infamy and next week Season of the Drifter. And of course, gonna be dropping in for some Apex Legends.
Oh, yeah, dude. And I have been Xanafan711. You can find me everywhere at Xanafan711. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate you so much. Listen to the band of the week. Go give them some money. Drop them a download or 2. And until next time, be the light you
It's
want
free.
to see in others. It's free.
Forage and Wander, it's free.
Go download it for free.
The album's called Time Well Spent, and let me tell you, that's money well spent.
Hell yeah. Bye, everybody.
Later, guys.
Should I get McDonald's?
Sure.
All right, let's do a clap.
Let's do a clap. So
All
Ben
right.
can get McDonald's.
3, 2, 1.
Dope. If you're here in the live chat, thank you so much. We're gonna raid somebody right now. We're gonna raid.
Is Nar in there?
I don't see him. Nah, I don't see him. So we're gonna raid Rocker Dude. Actually, no. Take it back. We're gonna raid Project Guardians.
Yeah.
Boom. Go say hi to these beautiful, beautiful people. Spreading the love, helping out with mental health stuff. They're great. Love you guys. All right, bye.